Meeting will now commence at 6:06 p.m. The first order of business is roll call. May we please commence roll call?
Student trustee Ha.
Present.
President Almendras.
Present.
Vice President Fernandez.
Present.
Chief of Staff Patino. Speaker House Joe.
Here.
Treasurer Basta.
Present.
Graphic designer Ramahi.
Present.
Web Administrator Suarez.
Present.
Chairperson Alvarez. Representative Youssef. Representative Beltran. Representative Ahmed. Is she on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no,
Uh,
she's not. She's not.
Representative Cruz. Representative Peredrew. Representative Guerrero.
Present.
Representative Habeli. Representative Sharma. Representative Ansari. No. Representative Giron.
Present.
Representative Erlbacher.
Present.
Representative Goldman. Representative Patel.
Present.
Representative Cordoba. Representative Bilovska.
Present.
Representative Carolina Bilovska.
Present.
Representative Bodila. She on Zoom?
No. There's a Carolina, but there's no last name.
Can you ask her which Carolina?
Mhm.
Representative Hannah. Representative Dasgupta. Representative Tobias. Representative Slaughter.
Present. Zoom. She's on Zoom.
Representative Zafar. Representative Saadi.
She's on Zoom.
Present.
Representative Khadir. Representative Rodriguez. Representative Brian Rodriguez. Representative Ali. Representative Zhang. Representative Blinn.
Present.
Representative Preobrazhenskia. Present. Representative Omani. Representative Dean.
Present.
Representative El Adwan. Present.
Thank you. The next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. Please take the time to read over the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, then the minutes will stand as approved. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I'd like to motion to amend the agenda.
Go ahead and make a motion.
A motion to add resolution 2022 F11 5006.
There has been a motion to add resolution 2022 F11 5006 to the agenda. Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then the motion carries. Are there any other changes to the agenda? If not, then the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is public comments. Is there anyone with public comment? Oh, okay. The next order of business is old business. There is some old business, so we'll move on to the next order of business, which is new business. First, we have resolution 2022 F11 2008. I will be reading this for us. So this is USG fall social funding. Whereas the undergraduate student governments traditionally hold socials throughout the academic year in order to recognize the significant work done by the body and to allow USG members to get to know each other better. And whereas in order to do so, the undergraduate student government seeks to hold the USG Fall Social in an inclusive, private setting where members shall be able to freely participate in the planned activities and network. Then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government shall allocate $1,900 for catering services audiovisual equipment, and private event space to be provided by Giordano's Pizza on Tuesday, November 29th, 2002, for the USG Fall Social. Let it be further resolved that any unspent funds shall be reallocated to the USG budget. I'll now open the floor for questions. Are there any questions? Yes, Matthew?
Just a notice, I'll be executive ordering this tonight.
Right. Matthew will be, or yes, Sophia?
Oh, I was just wondering if the time is known,
Yes, like
the time of the event itself.
yes, it'll be November 29th, 2002, 2022, from 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not,
I motion to use executive order.
there's been an executive order on this resolution, so we will be voting on this tonight. Any last questions? Yes, Daniel?
Is it on campus?
It's off campus.
Turn off.
Which
As-
Giordano?
Rush Street.
Where is it?
It's near the Magnificent Mile.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we will move on to voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2022 F11/1008, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2022 F11/1008 has passed. Next, we have resolution 2022 F11/5006. Treasurer from the Could you please read this for us? And could you also share the packet?
Yeah, I sent it.
You sent it, okay.
Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the USG merchandise and promotional items resolution. Whereas the undergraduate student government would like to provide its members with a token of gratitude for their hard work this year. And whereas the undergraduate student government would love to see members represent and promote USG on campus. And whereas the undergraduate student government would like to hand out promotional items to students on campus, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will allot $6,500 to purchase merchandise items for its members, along with promotional items for students on campus, with the specific item breakdown below.
All right, we will now move on to questions. Are there any questions, comments, or amendments regarding this? Yes, Matthew?
How much did we spend on?
Last year we spent, I believe, $7,200.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Representative Alonso.
Why are the street bags?
We talked about our last meeting, but there was like a certain amount to get a bulk, but it would be cheaper.
Yeah, that's exactly true. So about, I'm not sure how much how many of it is going to be given to members, but I know we're buying 300 of this, and the remainder of it will be used as giveaway items. Because we need to buy in bulk to lower the cost, because if we only order enough just for the members here who ordered it, it will have been a lot more expensive. I believe right now it's about maybe, I think, like $6 to $7 per bag. Beforehand, it would have been like double that.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I will be using executive order on this tonight. Please, take your time to deliver.
With this in mind, are there any last questions or comments?
All right, motion to use executive order.
There's been there's been an executive order on resolution 2022 F11/5006, so we will be voting on this tonight. We will now move on to voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2022 F11/5006, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2022 F11 5000 needs to be passed. We will now move on to the next order of business, which is items for discussion. Are there any items for discussion? Yes, President Bennett.
All right, so I have here an item for discussion. It's relating to kind of the meal swipe donation program that we've been working on this entire semester. So if you recall from my previous reports, I met with Associate Vice Chancellor De Silva and Charles Farrell, who is the Director for Business Operations, which means he oversees the dining hall services. And so in that meeting, I was discussing implementing the program into the contract. And we talked for a while, and they come to the consensus that it's probably better that we include some sort of language in this new contract for our company to adopt, for them to donate a certain amount of meal swipes to students. And Chartwell, the current company, donated 300 swipes to food insecure students here at UIC, and only 150 of these were used. And I'm thinking of drafting a resolution that requires, as a formal request from student government, to require that this future dining services company donated 400 meal swipes every year. And I think this could greatly help students who are facing food insecurity. I just want to hear people's thoughts. It's between this or the meal swipe donation program, which if you don't recall, this meal swipe donation program basically is a program where students can donate their meal swipes, but the big logistical hurdle over this, and this is the reason why we're kind of looking at this other option, is because it'll take a lot of effort to get students to donate their meal swipes. And in addition, we don't know how many meal swipes we get in a single year.
Yes.
I feel like you can't guarantee whether or not things are actually. Notice how much it adds up until they notice that they're running out.
Thank you.
So with the donation program, students would donate their meal swipes at any time or like at the end of the semester?
Yeah, so when the model was drafting with Carol Peterson, who's the director for the Wellness Center, we kind of had it where students can donate meal swipes whenever they wanted to. Whether that's possible or not, that's the route.
Just following up on that, I think if you give up the students the option to donate whenever they feel like it, they might not do so until the end of the semester when they realize that they've actually done it. Because when they have all of it, they might think that they'll use it more. But then would they carry over to the next semester if they donated it at the end of the semester?
Yeah, that would probably be the case, because this is another hurdle why we weren't considering the programs, because it'll probably take some sort of infrastructure from this future dining services company to create. For instance, maybe some sort of program machinery where you have to swipe your card and it will be donated to the system. Yes.
So, I don't know if it's changed this year, but that was a question. Is there a certain amount of steps and what's that? Is that?
Were you a resident?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's
Meeting will now commence at 6:06 p.m. first order of business is roll call. May we please commence roll call?
Student trustee Ha,
Present.
President Almendras,
Present.
Vice President Fernandez,
Present.
Chief of Staff Patino, Speaking as Joe,
Here.
Treasurer Basta,
Present.
Graphic Designer Ramahi,
Present.
Web Administrator Suarez,
Present.
Chairperson Alvarez, Representative Youssef, Representative Beltran, Representative Ahmed. Is she on the Zoom?
Yeah. Wait, no,
Uh,
she's not, she's not.
Representative Cruz. Representative Peridrew, Representative Guerrero,
Present.
Representative Habeli, Representative Sharma, Representative Ansari, no, Representative Giron,
Present.
Representative Erlbacher,
Present.
Representative Goman, Representative Patel, Representative Cordoba, Representative Bilovska,
Present.
Representative Carolina Bilovska,
Present.
Representative Bodila. She on Zoom?
No. There's a Carolina, but there's no last name.
Can you ask her which Carolina?
Mhm.
Representative Hannah. Representative Dasgupta. Representative Tobias. Representative Slaughter.
Present.
They're on Zoom. She's on Zoom.
Representative Zafar. Representative Saadi.
She's on Zoom.
Present.
Representative Khadir. Representative Rodriguez. Representative Brian Rodriguez. Representative Ali. Representative Zhang. Representative Blinn.
Present.
Representative Preobrazhenskia. Present. Representative Omani. Representative Dean.
Present.
Representative El Adwan. Present.
Thank you. The next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. Please take this time to read over the minutes.
It's the one that starts with the- oh, yeah. It starts with the B.
Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, then the minutes will stand as approved. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I'd like to motion to amend the agenda.
Go ahead and make a motion.
A motion to add resolution 2022 F11 5006.
There has been a motion to add resolution 2022 F11 5006 to the agenda. Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then the motion carries. Are there any other changes to the agenda? If not, then the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is public comments. Is there anyone who has a public comment? Oh, okay. The next order of business is old business. There is some old business, so we'll move on to the next order of business, which is new business. First, we have resolution 2022 F11 2008. I will be reading this for us. So this is USG fall social funding, whereas the undergraduate student governments traditionally hold socials throughout the academic year in order to recognize the significant work done by the body and to allow USG members to get to know each other better. And whereas in order to do so, the undergraduate student government seeks to hold the USG fall social in an inclusive, private setting where members shall be able to freely participate in the planned activities and network. Then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government shall allocate $1,900 for catering services, audiovisual equipment, and private event space to be provided by Giordano's Pizza on Tuesday, November 29th, 2002, for the USG Fall Social. Let it be further resolved that any unspent funds shall be reallocated to the USG budget. I'll now open the floor for questions. Are there any questions? Yes, Matthew?
Just a notice, I'll be executive ordering this tonight.
All right. Matthew will be, or yes, Sophia?
Oh, I was just wondering if the time is known,
Yes, like
the time of the event itself.
yes, it'll be November 29, 2002, 2022, from 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not,
I motion to use executive order.
there's been an executive order on this resolution, so we will be voting on this tonight. Any last questions? Yes, Daniel,
Is this an on-campus event?
it's off campus.
Turn off.
Which
As-
year now?
Rush Street.
Where is it?
It's near the Magnificent Mile.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we will move on to voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2022 F11/1008, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2022 F11/1008 has passed. Next, we have resolution 2022 F11/5006. Treasurer from the Secretary, please read this for us. And could you also share the packet?
Yeah, that's something.
You sent it.
Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the USG merchandise and promotional items resolution. Whereas the undergraduate student government would like to provide its members with a token of gratitude for their hard work this year. And whereas the undergraduate student government would love to see members represent and promote USG on campus. And whereas the undergraduate student government would like to hand out promotional items to students on campus. Then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will allot $6,500 to purchase merchandise items for its members, along with promotional items for students on campus, with the specific item breakdown below.
All right, we'll now move on to questions. Are there any questions, comments, or amendments regarding this? Yes, Matthew?
How much did we spend on?
Last year we spent, I believe, $7,200.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Representative Paulson.
Why are street bags? So did we talk about our last meeting, like, there was like a certain amount to get a bulk, but it would be cheaper.
Yeah, that's exactly true. So about, I'm not sure how much how many of it is going to be given to members, but I know we're buying 300 of this, and the remainder of it will be used as giveaway items. Because we need to buy in bulk to lower the cost, because if we only order enough just for the members here who ordered it, it will have been a lot more expensive. I believe right now it's about maybe, I think like $6 to $7 per bag. Beforehand, it would have been like double that.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I will be using executive order on this tonight. Please, take your time to deliver.
With this in mind, are there any last questions or comments?
All right, motion to use executive order.
There's been an executive order on resolution 2022 F11/5006, so we will be voting on this tonight. We will now move on to voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2022 F11/5006, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2022 F11/5006 will pass. We'll now move on to the next order of business, which is items for discussion. Are there any items for discussion? Yes, President. Bennett.
All right, so I have here an item for discussion. It's relating to kind of the meal swipe donation program that we've been working on this entire semester. So if you recall from my previous reports, I met with Associate Vice Chancellor De Silva and Charles Farrell, who is the Director for Business Operations, which means he oversees the dining hall services. And so in that meeting, I was discussing implementing the program into the contract. And we talked for a while, and they come to the consensus that it's probably better that we include some sort of language in this new contract for our company to adopt for them to donate a certain amount of meal swipes to students. And Chartwell, the current company, donated 300 swipes to food insecure students here at UIC, and only 150 of these were used. And I'm thinking of drafting a resolution that requires, as a formal request from student government, to require that this future dining services company donated 400 meal swipes every year. And I think this could greatly help students who are facing food insecurity. I just want to hear people's thoughts. It's between this or the meal swipe donation program, which, if you don't recall, this meal swipe donation program basically is a program where students can donate their meal swipes, but the big logistical hurdle over this, and this is the reason why we're kind of looking at this other option, is because it'll take a lot of effort to get students to donate their meal swipes. And in addition, we don't know how many meal swipes we get in a single year. Yes.
Our first thing that, I feel like we can't guarantee whether or not things are actually. Notice how much it adds up until we notice that they're running out.
Thank you.
So with the donation program, students would donate their meal swipes at any time or like at the end of the semester?
Yeah, so when the model was drafting with Carol Peterson, who's the director for the Wellness Center, we kind of had it where students can donate meal swipes whenever they wanted to. Whether that's possible or not, that's the route.
Just following up on that, I think if you give the students the option to donate whenever they feel like it, they might not do so until the end of the semester when they realize that they actually do it. Because when they have all of it, they might think that they'll use it more. But then would they carry over to the next semester if they donated it at the end of the semester?
Yeah, that would probably be the case, because this is another hurdle why we weren't considering the programs, because it'll probably take some sort of infrastructure from this future dining services company to create. For instance, maybe some sort of program machinery where you have to swipe your card and it will be donated to the system. Yes.
So, I don't know if it's changed this year, but when I was a freshman, I did like a certain amount of steps and one step. Is that the same?
Were you a resident?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's part of the meal plan for residents, if I'm not mistaken.
So this year program.
No, it would, but I'm saying I think that's replenished for housing students. And for instance, commuter students do not have a meal plan unless they don't.
Are there any other questions or comments?
So to close, this discussion, I have one after this. So if I were to draft a resolution, formally requesting, the people in charge of the dining hall services to include 400 meal swipes a year, would you, support that? You can like just kind of raise your hands and gauge a vote on that. In addition, with that, resolution, I'll also be including a piece of language to also add on to the contract. Mike and I found out that Chartwell also offered $200 credit to student organizations towards catering. And, we couldn't find anything about it. We're going to get more details on that from Charles Farrell. But we want to reintroduce this and institutionalize it into the contract. And we're thinking of raising the $200 amount to maybe 300. Would you agree with that? You can raise your hand. From 200 to 300. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you. That helps a lot when I'm creating this. If you want to help out with that, just hit me up and I can add you as a co-sponsor. The next piece of legislation I'm trying to introduce is relating to course material cost transparency. This was brought up to me when I was talking to a representative about course material and figuring out how much you're going to be paying for the class before you actually register. And so I found out that there's actually a federal law that requires higher education institutions to include the price and the textbook you're going to be paying for in the course registration. However, it's a little bit difficult for higher education institutions to do this. When I was talking with Rob Dixon, who is the vice chancellor for the registrar, he said it's a little bit difficult only because sometimes professors may not know what type of textbook they'll be using before the year starts. Because when you register, let's say in the spring semester, that's probably around April, and the class actually starts in August. So you have many months before classes are actually finalized. And so I'm just kind of curious, when you registered for classes, firstly, who here has registered for classes? Okay. When you were registering for classes, were you checking how much you were going to be paying for that class in the fee section? No. Okay. And all right. Do you think it would be helpful though to know how much you'd be paying for a class before you register? Okay. All right, thank you. That helps a lot.
Thank you so much. Are there any other items for discussion? If not, we will move on to our next order of business, which is ex officio reports. May we please have a report of the advice. Thank you. We will now move on to the report of the student trustee.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
All right, great. So an exciting past week. First of all, alongside President Matthew, the president of not the Graduate Student Council, but the Health Professional Student Council and SBA, we welcome our Chancellor Designate, Dr. Murray Lynn Miranda to UIC. I've attached a link to my remarks I made on stage. I was a student speaker and welcoming her during the event at the Doran Forum. So it's wonderful getting a chance to meet her in person. She is an extraordinary individual, and I'm really excited to what she's going to do for us and with us in the upcoming years ahead. Also, a note that the November Board of Trustees meeting is, well, actually, I wrote this last week, but it's this week in Chicago. So please let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I also met with UIC Law's Dean, Nikki Booth. We were able to talk a little bit about her experience as UIC Law Dean so far, what she likes it so far, how she likes it, and what her reflections are. I hope to partner with her and SBA to visit the law campus and to host a town hall next semester. SBA actually held a town hall this semester where I got a chance to learn more about law students' concerns and overall environment. And I'm working with them to investigate a grade submissions issue that apparently has been going around for a long time now, since previous semesters. So hopefully we're working through that issue, but I'll be keeping tabs on it. I also was able to visit USG's tent during the tailgate event and the homecoming activities. Shout out to Vice President Fernandez and everybody else who helped set that up and attended. Also, CLC committee did a wonderful job of putting together the Connect and Surlius event. Shout out to them, it was wonderful. And then lastly, I visited the Student Success Committee, sort of crash the party a little bit, to introduce myself, to get a chance to see who the reps are, ask them questions. So thank you to Director Murtaza, Deputy Director Zafar, and to committee representatives for allowing me to crash. And that is all for my report this week. I yield for any questions.
Are there any questions regarding CPC or limited? Not in the report for CPC. We'll now move on to the next order of business, which is officer reports. May we please have the report of the president?
Thank you. So, just as a reminder, my office hours are Tuesdays from 11:30 to 1 p.m. You can just come by in the USG offices, or you can email me and I can send a Zoom link. So last week I met with Enya Chung, who's the Director of Student Transitions and Engagement and Community Student Advocacy. We just talked about the USG survey. I talked about the campus dining services contract and brainstorm ways to advance USG's initiative with the contract, which we just discussed earlier on the item for discussion. And so yeah, and as I mentioned, drafting the program proposal legislation. If anyone is interested in helping out, please let me know. Yes, I also, as Trustee Hawk mentioned, met and welcomed our new Chancellor, Dr. Marie Miranda. Excited to see how she will lead UIC and elevate the student experience. Hopefully, we can get a lot of meetings with her just to tell her what the students want and make sure she's always listening to student perspective. These upcoming weeks, I'm just going to try to attend as many mini meetings as I can, just as the semester slowly starts to end out. Just to finish out the student survey and get in final reports from directors. Additionally, I need a public health major to fill in my seat at this School of Public Health student session for the Director of Undergraduate Program. This for the candidates for the position. It's this Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. It's conducted over Zoom. If you are or know a public health major, please let them know, and if they're interested in attending this session, they can feel free to share my email with them. But with that, I yield my time to questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding President Matthews' report? If not, then the report of the president will be filed. Next, we have the report of the vice president.
Hey everyone, yes, you all know the tailgate was last Friday. We had a great turnout from student government and for the contest. I think talking with other USG members, we estimate around like 100 or 150 people participate in the contest, or at least were interacting with the organizations that register. So thank you for everyone who helped in preparation for this event. And thanks for all who came to represent USG. I know it was cold, and last update we had the catering from Acropolis, but we ended up doing the Sweet Girls cupcakes because the last event was not busy. And then the winner, the judges. First of all, the judges were represented Delay, Treasurer Quinn, and TAC Kennedy. And they deemed the winner was Sigma Alpha Mu Fraternity, so we'll probably be posting about them on Instagram this week. And in response to the reading and review days, I hope to make some policies this week that's closely along the lines of what SCAP deals with, because I think it will be referred to them eventually. And then I'll be working with President Matthew to condense USG survey questions, and then there's an athletic council meeting this week. I yield my time for questions.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a great weekend. So first and foremost, I will be submitting the stipend RFS this week, working with the Dean of Students to do so. I'm scheduling to meet with our advisor, Keith, for our monthly financial check-in. And I've been in direct contact with the Dean of Students office to ensure that all of our funding requests have been fulfilled. There've been a lot lately, so it's been a lot to keep up with, but we've been doing very well. I also worked with Vice President Michael in securing the cupcake truck for the tailgate on Friday. Worked with Director Felix to ensure that the Connecting Student Leaders event at Hawkeyes was paid for. I just want to say great work to everyone who helped in enabling USG events last week. There's a number of them, and I can see that we're having some great engagement with the UIC community. That is what we're all about, so keep up the great work, everyone. Additionally, I'm working with Representative Jesse to keep USG's budget log up to date with recent expenditures. Like I said, there have been a lot, so just making sure that we're keeping up with everything so that our log aligns with the Dean of Students transaction list. Additionally, in the Treasury Committee, we're brainstorming and discussing future initiatives. I've been delegating responsibilities, and we're discussing a potential collaboration between USG and the Student Trustee Office. And lastly, a number of people have reached out to me regarding a suspicious email coming from President Matthew mentioning that I am out of the office or something. And I just want to say that if any of you get any suspicious emails that appear that they're not truly from Matthew, please let us both know, ignore them, do not respond to them, never press any links in them. But yeah, definitely let us know. But on that note, I yield the rest of my time for questions.
Yes, President Matthews.
Yeah, so actually, completely forgot to give a notice about this. So yeah, if you see any suspicious emails, just don't reply to them. If I do need to reach out to you, hopefully, I hope it won't go to your spam, but yeah, I always write my emails in Times New Roman, so it's a big indicator that it's not email from me. So yeah, I also tend to also directly contact you through group me or text message. But yeah, just be wary of that. If you have any second doubts, just email me at my official UIC.
Are there any other questions or comments regarding the treasurer? If not, then the report of the treasurer. Next, you have the report of the speaker. So hello everyone, hope you all had a great week. First off, for the Cocoa and Kindness tabling event, I think we reached a lot of students. We ran out of hot chocolate in like the first hour, so I count that as a win. The poster is outside the USG office if you want to take a look. Thank you to Secretary Dadia, Representative Zelai, Representative Plana, Representative Veronica, and Representative Dia for tabling with us. Yay! We had an MHC meeting in which we finalized the questions for our mental health survey, which hopefully we will be able to get out this semester. And we're also going to be looking into conducting focus groups for some qualitative testimonies. I attended as a panelist for a Texas Work Affordability Conference with President Matthew, Representative Nazra, and Representative Rita. It was great speaking on the student experience. I also attended the Connecting Student Leaders event. Great job to Felix and CLC for putting on a great networking event, and the tailgate as well. For the USG Social, thank you for passing the funding resolution. The date is set as Tuesday, November 29th from 6 to 9 p.m. More details will follow as we continue planning. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments regarding the social, please feel free to reach out to me. Last but not least, some exciting news. For next week's meeting packet, Interim Speaker Yasmin will be making a packet for the next GBM. So if you're sending in your reports or resolutions or items for discussion or guest speakers, please include both Yasmin and I in the list. Okay. Are there any questions or comments regarding my report? If If not, then the report of the speaker will be filed. Next, we have the report from chief of staff.
Hi, everyone, and happy other homecoming week. I wanted to shout out the amazing USG work from a few events that have been happening, so the Connecting Student Leaders, the newsletter, the cultural fair, the tailgate, and more coming this week. So excited to see what we continue to do. I also had director meetings, so it was nice to go over the initial goals we had at the start of the year and the progress we've been making with everyone, which the directors will update in their reports. But we just talked about moving forward, speaking on next semester. The goals we still have yet to complete, so those will be main focuses for next semester. And we went over the survey and discussed some E4 topics, but overall looking forward to the future.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments regarding chief of staff report? If not, then the report of the chief of staff will be filed. Next, we have the report of the diversity and inclusion chair. Do we have someone reading last week's report?
Hello, are you able to? Are you able to hear me without the echo now? Someone just typed.
You can speak now.
Okay, cool. So I hosted the cultural fair on Friday. I had a really great time with the student orgs and the students who showed up. It was a pretty low turnout, but it was really nice for all the student orgs to get to know each other and to see the cultural performances there. Then for contraceptive access, I'm reaching out to our sister schools to see if any students would be interested. Once again, I would like if you guys had any contacts, especially in Springfield, at the student government there, to see if they'd be interested in pushing contraceptive access at their university. And then with Chick-fil-A, kind of with last week, just kind of in the planning stages of a town hall, and reach out to me if you're interested in helping out with that.